Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to do a blog video. I'm going to talk about a certain game called Operation Wolf. This game is one of my fondest memories I've had when my father was alive. It was an arcade game, very similar to Lethal Enforcer, Terminator 2, Alien 3, not quite sure which one. It was a arcade game that had the gun bolted in, so it wasn't the one with the cord on it. But my father was a Vietnam veteran. He was if I remember right, he was a co-pilot. And then due to high casualty rates with helicopter gunners, he was then moved to a gunner position. So my father had a real strong connection with Vietnam and helicopters. And any game that had helicopters or a Vietnam setting, he would go out, rent it or buy it, or if it was an arcade game, he would pull me over to it and drop 2 or 1/4 in it, and I would play it. And so that's kind of how I found Operation Wolf. The game itself was really tall. It had, oh man, if I remember being a little kid, it was really tall. I could just get to the base of the gun. And I think they did that so that way, like, little kids couldn't run in and, shoot people, because at that time, video game violence and whatnot. And so my father would come in and he would grab me around the waist and he'd pull me up, and so that way I could shoot him up, kill Charlie or whatever. And it was a special time. After a while, the arcade we would go to, they didn't carry it, and so we thought maybe they'd sold it or it went somewhere else, different city. But one day we were at, I believe it was a bowling alley, and they had it at the bowling alley, and it was the same machine. We could tell just by the wear marks on it. So we would go in to the bowling alley and we'd play it there, and I had gotten a little bit taller, so he'd get me a chair because he'd get tired of holding me. And so then they'd get rid of it from the the bowling alley, and then they would take it to a gas station. We'd find it a few months later at a gas station, and we would go and we would just kind of hunt it down. We would just jump in the Jeep. We would jump in the Jeep. Was it a Jeep? No, it was a truck. I'm sorry, it was a truck. It was his white Toyota, and we would cruise around. Sunday afternoons were kind of our fun time. And so every week we would jump in the truck and we would cruise around town looking for it, if we didn't know where it was at. And for the most part we could find it, but I think one year they moved it and we didn't find it for a while. But my father ended up finding it in a bar, and one Sunday afternoon we hopped in the truck and he went down to the bar, and he was able to sweet talk the bartender into letting his, I think I must have been like 11 at that time, so his 11-year-old son in the bar so we could play this game. And we went in, and it was, all the hardcore alcoholics at, 1 in the afternoon on a Sunday. And, it was a great time me and my father had. And so whenever I think about Operation Wolf, I think about my father. I don't remember if I mentioned this, but he's been passed away for 13 years. It was a real sudden death, kind of, real tragedy. But I always think about Operation Wolf and the good times we had. And so if you ever get to check it out, Operation Wolf, I think they made an NES version of it. Not as good as the arcade, but if you ever see it, pop a quarter in and try it out. So I'm going to end this video, and I'll see you guys later.